Hi guys, can someone just type in chat and say that they can hear us? Great. Okay, we got the confirmation, Daniel. Good. Thank you, Finn. This is a bit low, Daniel. It's louder here as well. And just to introduce who's here, it's obviously Daniel. You guys know Daniel. He's going to play the game. He's the writer of Nine Noir Lives, our very talented writer, and he does a bit of programming on the side to help with the more challenging aspects of the game development. And then we've got our very talented artist Kaylin here, our head artist. She is the one responsible for the amazing artwork that we see in the game. And then we have myself. I'm William, and I do all the little bits, all the more boring stuff that falls in between all the exciting stuff.
That's still important.
It's still important, right? This is I try and put everything together into one cohesive product. But as Daniel mentioned with this demo, this is the new one. Hopefully, you guys have played it and enjoyed it. But to mention as well, this is much more representative of what the final game will be. Development wise, we are actually now nearing the point where the game is fully playable from start to finish. We are about 95% there. So within the next 2 weeks, the game will be internally be playable from the start to the finish. So it's also quite a big milestone for us. But the point being, this demo is a vertical slice of the game. So if you enjoy the demo, that's going to be in the full game. That is the full representative of the full game. It it really is. It really is. And just to mention here, we've got from the help system and hence we've got a hint system. That's a little book icon. So if you click there, you'll have guides. If you have story mode enabled, the puzzles and stuff will be very clearly defined in the hint system. If you don't, it's going to be a lot more obscure. The puzzles in the game do get quite challenging. The demo is very simple, purposefully, but there are some real challenging items. Always logical, always fair. You'll never go and get frustrated in the sense of looking at it, and it's not moon logic. You'll never go, oh, how should I have known to combine this string with this badger to unlock the door? That'll never happen. So it's always very fair in that sense. And then we also have the snoop function here. Just a quick note as well. Modest Jack Kalen, he says the artwork is amazing. So
Oh, thank you.
Is that a fire cannon? Indoors? Oh, that really isn't safe. Is someone there? Hello? Am I yelling loudly enough for you? Oh, much better. Thank you. Ow! Ow, what the? I think I just walked into a wall of spikes. Hey, can we get the lights on in here? Look, it's cute, it's fun. Thanks for this, but, time for some lights. Much better, thank you. Oh, hey, it was a cat kiss. Oh, neat.
I love that cinematic so much.
I think with the Cuddles, because we've been working on this game for about 4 years now, and when you have that period of time, we've been working part-time now, but when you work with a character that long, the character starts to grow and starts to get a personality, a very natural personality. And the intro, what I love about the intro is that it's so Cuddles. If you've played the full game, you can see it's Cuddles to a T. He would be the one that bumbles into the room and notices the how unsafe these big fire cannons are, totally oblivious of what's going on around him. So it's very representative, and that was also the aim with the intro. You really wanted to give you immediately what you were going to get in the game. uh,
It is literally covered in spines, and the client didn't cough up for medical on this case. Spiky, huh? Holding down the fort against any potential invasion of balloon people? Good cat, kiss.
Balloon people.
We just have a question here. It says Kaylin is a bit muffled. I don't know if we can do anything about that. Kaylin?
Okay.
We'll do, yeah, if we can. We do have a question here. What does Cuddles taste like, Daniel? Does he taste like peanut butter? Yeah, and now you're purposefully holding the icon over his face, right? I'm gonna have.
I feel like I'm gonna go back and replay the whole game just doing that with all the characters.
Caleb, I think you'll have to redo Cuddles' artwork. But also just to mention,
Sit there. They sit there with their booties, with their butts.
Just to mention, this is the artwork here is obviously Kaylin's, and there is one thing missing here which we'll put in the final game, and that is the bar will have inset into it, like the flames. So that'll happen. Unfortunately, with the demo, we couldn't. But Kaylin, I don't know if you maybe want to just expand on your process and how you usually tackle stuff a screen like this. I
Sure.
give you the brief, and then you
Yeah.
usually take it and run with it.
Yeah, so usually after you've briefed me or I've read Dan's scripts, I have an idea of what I'm going for already. With this one, I sort of knew from the beginning that I was going to go for really saturated colors because the tiki bars normally have like a million light sources. So I kind of just ran with that and tried to like lay everything out honestly to just suit the light sources. Um, yeah, but basically, I just get a bunch of references, lay everything out, try and get things put in places when designing environments for backgrounds for games. You got to make sure that the characters can like walk through and not be obstructed by anything. So thinking about that kind of stuff, yeah, a lot of it is just after I've read the script, I have an idea. Like honestly, that's it.
Because that also helps, structurally it's sound. I can just plug it into the game.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
We have another question. Who is the actor for Cuddles? That is Lucas from the Hermit Collective. Now, normally with the streams, the guys from Hermit Collective, they join, but Lucas had some dentistry on Friday. So, he's obviously, he couldn't join. That's a good way to look at it, Nigel. But I don't think that's true. But yeah, they said they would join via chat if they can. So yeah.
Oh wow.
It was a whole restructuring, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Daniel? Sorry, people saying they can't hear you. Can you guys hear Daniel? Oh? No. Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
So Tom says he hears the sounds of silence from Dan. Did this just suddenly happen? He asks. I assume so. Did you guys hear Dan fine before? Oh, they haven't heard you at all, Daniel. Okay. So there's been a lot of periods of silence where Daniel's been chatting away. Okay, guys, let's see if we can figure this out.
Okay, how about that? Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yay.
Okay, sorry about that. I had the... Yeah, because last time I had... Oh dear, so I've been talking at length and no one's been hearing me. That's annoying.
Now you're soft again, right?
I've turned down my volume a bit now. Is it too soft or...
It's fine for me. Okay, much clearer.
Sorry about that. Yeah, okay. I thought... Yeah, this was the issue we had last stream. I was very loud. So what I did is I turned myself down in Discord, but I think I ended up muting myself. So I'm going to turn myself...
Now they're saying you're loud.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is turn myself down in Discord quite a bit. So I'm now at 30% in Discord. So does that sound better?
Dan, you're quite soft now. Talkies?
Talkies. But the thing is, okay, well, sorry guys, we'll just have to make do with me being quite loud, unfortunately. I'll try not to talk too loudly. Hopefully that will counterbalance it. As long as you can hear me. And as long as there's no echo, because I've turned Discord on now. I don't want to... Okay. I'll just try stay at this volume.
I can't hear you now.
Yeah, I can't hear him at all.
Oh dear. Why? Please hold. Technical issues. I mean, why can't you guys hear me? It must be because I turned myself down in Discord so much. Test. Okay, so now I'm at max volume in Discord, and I've manually set the sensitivity. Who can hear me now?
I can.
I can too.
And my volume's not too bad. Okay.
Modest Jack says we need cuddles on the case.
Not if we want to. Not if we want to solve it.
Just so you guys know, Cuddles is based on our own cat. So I mean, I can go and grab him, but I don't think he's going to be of much use.
All right, so I think we found a balance there that works. So I'm just going to stick with this. All right, so yeah, sorry. Does that mean there was this long period of silence at the start of the stream while I was chatting away for minutes and no one was hearing me? And then luckily William took over. But okay, so what was I saying?
You were gonna lick Tiki Gal's face, I think.
We were talking about the. I said that. Yeah, no, I can't remember what I was saying. Something about a mouth being upgraded or whatever. But anyway, let's chat to this guy.
Hello there. Are you the owner?
Who's asking?
Oh, my name is Cuddles Nutterbutter. I'm here to serve you.
Don't need no new waiters. Thanks.
Serve you papers? I mean, I'm a private investigator.
What sort of PI work is delivering papers? Shouldn't you be out investigating?
You out investigating? Yes, well, bit of a dry stretch right now, if I'm honest, and this pays the bills. Happens more than you'd think.
Oh, show me a badge then.
Of course, it's right... Oh, where did it go? Actually, you know what? I forgot. Badges are being discontinued, so don't worry about it. Ms.
None of your business.
Miss Business, then. I have a few questions for you.
So, obviously from the old demo, one of the things that was frustrating for people was the fact that you got into conversations and you couldn't exit them for a while. Or if you pressed escape, sometimes it would skip the conversation and you'd miss the dialogue. So a key thing for all of the conversations beyond the ones in, I mean, there is an example in this one, but even beyond this, in conversations in part 2 and onwards, is an option that lets you exit the conversation as you see fit. So you don't have to ask every single thing up front. You can ask one or none, exit the conversation, look around, come back later.
So Daniel, lick Tiki Gal's face. I think that's. Oh, I just love that. That is just the
I need
greatest.
to think. I'm gonna need to lick your face now.
Sure thing.
Huh?
Go for it. Lick away. Treat yourself.
This is a trap. You're trying to trick me. Nobody ever says yes. What's your angle, huh? Hidden cameras? Are you trying to expose me? I don't care. Licking isn't a crime. I checked.
So defensive, Cuddles.
I don't care. I've got a mask.
Oh, that tasted horrible.
Oh, you're saying the taste of my mask isn't good enough for Mr. Fancy over here?
And just to say, you know, Cuddles, he did check because he goes throughout the world trying to lick everything and everybody with differing results.
It's a problem.
It's a problem. He's got a problem.
Is it a problem?
Well, later in the game, we actually have, when you interact with one of the police detectives, he tells you to please holster your tongue. And then Cuddles is all defensive about him not, it's all hearsay, it's not true, and so on.
Yeah, so we've been asked to bring a cease and desist to this guy. So let's deliver that.
Here are the papers. I trust this settles the matter. Have your name changed within the week, or we'll see you in court. Well, not me. I don't go to court, but someone will, and I bet they'll be mean.
What if I say I won't accept the papers?
That's not up to you. Here.
Nah.
So we'll do some fine-tuning around with what dialogue plays when you drop things on characters to ensure that you get the right context or whatever. But yeah, another thing that obviously was an issue with the first demo was that you only got to the puzzles quite late in the gameplay. Here we made sure there's a puzzle up front. And it, like William said, it's a relatively straightforward one, but it's yeah.
But it's
Take
also
the
worth mentioning.
papers.
You take the papers.
Hey, boss! Do you have the Voodoo Boss branding book? I can't recall if they use the bookshop beige or bicycle yellow.
Expedition khaki, I think.
Roger that. I mean, rat sounds.
I'm right here. Me. I'm right here, the investigator. This is the law. I know I don't have a badge, but you can't right in front of me. Guys.
Oh, shame. Yeah, so
Just, sorry, Daniel, just the bookshop beige, the reference, that's a reference to Tracy Ullman doing a sketch on Angela Merkel. When she uses makeup, she always uses bookshop beige makeup, just for you guys. And then we have exhibition khaki and bicycle yellow and all these fancy things.
Hey, can you take this cease and desist from me?
No, the boss will be mad. I mean, squeak.
so the character in the back is pretending to be a rat because the boss has told him not to reveal himself. I believe it's this option.
Every single thing I can see in here is a direct copy of the interior of my client's bar, except for your obsession with fire. How do you explain that?
They must have come in and taken pictures when I wasn't looking. Oh, those jerks.
Just full of answers, aren't you? And what about...
Boss, I'm just about done copying the Voodoo Boss menu.
There. Right, someone just said they're duplicating my client's menu.
No, it's rats. It's rats in the walls. Right rats.
Yeah, no, I mean, squeak.
Super convincing.
Go through some of those dialogue options, Daniel.
Okay,
Business.
let's see. Oh, wait,
That's
this is
funny.
my favorite
You
one.
have a sign outside your bar. It says, "We're the voodoo place that don't serve no cursed margaritas." Care to explain?
Means we don't got no cursed margaritas?
Firstly, that hasn't cleared anything up. Secondly, it's slander.
It's true. No cursed drinks in here. That's our guarantee. The guitar guarantee, yeah.
You obviously just made that up. More to the point, there are no cursed drinks in my client's bar either. What even is a cursed margarita?
Instead of lime juice, it's got the souls of the damned.
Ms. Business, my clients do not add condemned souls to their drinks, as I think you well know.
Yeah, but how can we be sure? They don't have a sign.
That's not... What? That doesn't even... Well, I don't see any guitars in here, so your whole name is a lie. You clearly ripped off my client's entire concept and just picked a word that rhymes with bar.
Guitar's a state of mind, though, isn't it? The voodoo guitar is totally different from all other voodoo-themed outlets.
Yeah, if you ignore all the bits that are identical.
Uh-huh.
I have a cease and desist from the voodoo bar. If you don't comply, my clients will see you in court, where, inter alia, you will have to sit in some very uncomfortable chairs in a room with too little air conditioning. It is not a party.
Big words don't impress me. Show me the papers.
Oh, fine, I will. Take the papers.
You take the papers.
I love how, she's so belligerent, she's like, you take the papers. That's funny.
So we've tried to give it to the guy at the back already, so we have to give it to another employee. And this guy's got a name tag, so...
All right, fine. You want to be difficult? I'll give the papers to another employee, like this fine fella right here. He seems reasonable.
That ain't an employee, it's a cat kiss.
Love the delivery of that line. She's like, what are you doing, you moron?
And just to mention, the cat kiss, it's specifically a cat kiss and not a cat.
Cactus.
I hate it.
I can't even say the word properly anymore. I've typed cat kiss so many times.
Cat kiss, whatever.
He's got
But
a
yeah,
name
it's a running
tag,
theme.
though. That'll hold up in court. Hello there, Spiky! You've been served. If I have to come back here to serve more papers to the voodoo mandolin or the voodoo sitar or any other sort of mystical instrument, you'll wish you only had fake rats to worry about.
Squeak.
Welcome back, sir. How did it go?
Oh, fine. Served them the papers. Argued about who copied whom. Walked into a huge cat kiss, the usual. I did, though, almost get fried by a fire cannon at some point, so that was exciting.
A fire cannon? Indoors? That's very unsafe.
That's exactly what I said. Not that they cared, but anyway, it's done. Another citizen in need helped by Nutter Butter investigations. Inform the media. Open the champagne. Oh well. I really hope something bigger comes along soon, Tabby. I'm being wasted on these tadpole cases. I tell you, there's a full-sized toad of a case out there somewhere with my name on it. I'm sure of it.
A toad named Cuddles? Well, until that hops along, I have a surprise that should cheer you up.
Surprises? I love those. Tabby, man, have I ever told you that your timing is perfect? I could really use a pick-me-up right now.
I thought you might. Oh, it's waiting in your office. Go on in and I'll be there shortly. I'm just expecting a delivery.
You're the best, Tabster.
I know, sir.
Just on the comments we're getting, people are feeling Cuddles' pain. So that's pretty good. But also I wanted to mention that the Tiki gal will be in the game later. So she will make a return. And the other thing I quickly wanted to mention is not maybe obvious for people who play the game, but we do have 3 interaction icons, but in about 80% of the hotspots and cases, you can have multiple responses. So, it just adds to the experience with those more difficult ones when you get a bit stuck.
So I've put the icon over Tabby's face and you can see it actually works rather well.
Oh, no, that doesn't look great at all. Wow.
I can't lick the staff. It's in their contracts.
They have to have that in their contract?
It might send the wrong
It's
message
Cuddles,
if
right?
I start licking employees' desks.
I
Soon
think he's got a
everyone will want it.
reputation.
I'm not sure the risk of that is as high as you think, sir.
Well, there, Tabby answers your question. Yeah, so there's a few, most of this is the same as the old demo, so I'm not going to go through everything. There were just a few lines we touched up here and there just to adjust them.
Where are you hiding, sneaky little surprise? Cuddles is gonna find ya. Ooh, he's gonna find ya. Yes, he is.
So the players are free at this point to walk around both offices and look at everything and just enjoy themselves. They don't get immediately locked into the Ramon reveal.
A tale of
Oh wait, that's the wrong bookshelf. So this has been updated. The previous one had a number of extra books, but only some of them were relevant. A lot more of these are relevant, although still not all of them. You'll have to figure out which ones are needed for puzzles yourself. There's just one in particular that I'm a fan of, which is this one.
Max Full Power snarled as he fired all 16 barrels of his quad blasters into the alien's sole remaining face. Oh my goodness. Max is so cool. This is a classic. I can't lick a classic.
To give context, it's Yarnbreaker Life Taker, a Max Full Power novel. So Max Full Power is this fictional, big muscled space guy. And that also comes later into the game as well. But,
Yarnbreaker Life Taker, a Max Full Power novel. Yes, literature. Part of a very old science fiction series about a swashbuckling space explorer named Max Full Power. This is the book where he finds a whole planet made of killer yarn. When the third moon exploded, Max lowered his sunglasses and frowned. That was a lot of exploding moons, even for a weekend. The strands of death yarn lunged from Max's angle, but he twisted in 0G and crushed them against a bulkhead like so many pieces of aggressively homicidal spaghetti.
I think that's the last. Yeah. I really enjoyed writing this.
I remember correctly, he dies at the end of this one, but then they clone him in the next one from a half-eaten banana he left in the kitchen.
If you ever read sort of 80s sci-fi fantasy stuff where there's like 44 books in the series and it just never ends, it's very much inspired by that sort of thing. Which other ones are interesting? Oh, this one is quite nice.
If you enjoyed this book, try the prequel, 8 Great Plates of Dates.
My only regret with some of these... Huh?
Go back there. I just want to do the Tiger Strike one. It's a favorite of mine as well.
Tiger Strike, it's this one.
I'm pretty confident I don't need this anymore. Oh, well, that's good. I should tell that one to Tabby.
The book, maybe?
Tiger Strike. Discover the big cat inside your little cat.
Oh, shame.
A self-help book. But I can already help myself. I helped myself to a muffin just this morning.
That's Cuddles' version of self-help, Anyway.
A brand new diary recorder, as seen on TV, with up to 12 hours of recording time, 2 playback speeds, and a waterproof casing. Oh, let's try this out. Dear diary recorder.
Muffin was it?
Hi there, I'm Cuddles, your new best friend.
Question.
Probably, I don't know.
Strawberry, I think.
No, tuna.
First things first, I can't just call you diary recorder. You need a proper name, or people will think I'm really weird for talking to you all the time. I used to know a good listener named Ramon. Yeah, and he was on television too, like you. So, Ramon, my assistant Tabby has gifted you to me. I'm pretty sure I know why. She suggested the other day that I need to keep better records of my cases. Well, she actually said that real detectives don't just slap sticky notes on everything to remember critical details. I'm not sure I agree. I actually think the sticky yellow notes on everything system was a huge success.
I can just imagine this office covered in yellow.
We're getting
But
some
she went
comments
to
as
the
well
effort of buying you for me, so I think we can compromise.
about Ramon, the rolling
Yeah.
of R's.
Yeah, no, it's
Lucas did a
great.
great job.
And someone says, I feel like 80% of my gameplay will be clicking on everything. Well, it is a point and click, so I mean, absolutely. We that's why we've written so much hotspot stuff with 2 actions per verb and tying the
And I
stuff
think
together.
The thing is, you spend so much time in the world, for me personally, because I love point and clicks, but I find it so frustrating when I'm stuck and I click on a thing and it says, it's a book, and you click on it again and it's a book. It just takes away the enjoyment. And we focus so much on the writing. We've got about 70,000 words in total in the game, and sure, most people probably won't see 30% of it, but that's okay. For the people who really want to delve in and enjoy it, it's going to be for them. So a lot of love we've placed into the different hotspots and just the experience. You always try and make it entertaining and fun to click through things and to see what Cuddles is going to say or what he's going to lick.
I'll record myself with you from now on, and hopefully she'll stop bringing up the time she accidentally ate a sticky note that I put on her sandwich. So, guess I'll make this into a record for anyone researching my biography when I'm world famous.
So this is where the old demo and the new demo sort of come together for a while, and Cuddles talks a bit about things. This is one of the areas I still want to tighten up in terms of what exactly is spoken about for how long. A lot of it made sense in the original demo and not as much now. So I'm going to skip over some of the lines here and just get us to the point where we can chat to the chief.
Nutter buck.
Cuddles! Sir? Professor Hug.
I'll be out in a sec. That's kind of new.
Oh,
We have a question.
This
What
is
would
a
be
lot
what
more
would be the
seedlings than I
title
was
of Cuddles'
expecting.
autobiography?
Um,
Isn't it the Cuddlenator?
the Cuddlenator.
The Cuddlenator.
Stories from a city gone mad or something. Yeah.
The perfect.
Any.
All right. Oh, it's
Oh, I teeny.
you. Smutter.
You
I'm on just. Okay. Enjoying your new diet.
I love it. Thank.
My pleasure, sir. Yo. Hello. Oh, good evening, Chief. Sir, I've got the chief of police on the line. He says it's urgent.
He always says that. It was even urgent when they needed an extra person for the interdepartmental volleyball game last week. I got sand in so many places. Ask him to phone back tomorrow, Tabby.
Yes, sir, but you were just saying you wanted bigger cases, right? I think this one might be pretty big. He said cucumber.
Whoa. Language, Tabby. Whiskers, I've never heard him curse before. Something must be up. All right, I guess I'd better take this.
Patching him through, sir.
Oh, not about her. Hello?
Evening, Chief. How's things at Police HQ tonight?
Man, in fact, we've got a real cucumber of a situation on our hands.
Excuse the language, by the way, of course.
Yeah, they've
Pretty
got
strong language, Chief. How can I help?
they've got their own set of curse words in the world, and cucumber is like one of the worst you could say. So then it's serious.
One of the things that one of the articles that covered us over Gamescom mentioned was that it actually feels like a game you could play with your kids, and that's not entirely inaccurate. It does deal with some pretty heavy stuff later. I mean, there's a murder, and whatnot, but it's certainly not something that brings up topics that you would feel uncomfortable showing to children. I mean, you might have to explain some of it, but it's never done to the point where it's beyond a child's ability to make sense of, I would say. So I absolutely would like to see if people play this with their kids as a fun, cute little cat game, after release, it'll be very interesting.
But I think it's important to make that distinction. It's not a kid's game. It does deal with murder. It does deal with, drug abuse and all of that. So it's got heavy topics, and we have points in the story that's quite mature. So obviously there, it can be explained to whatever, but that is not the point of the game. It is not a kid's game. It is aimed at mature audiences. Regardless of the cutesy style, that's the world, but it's important to make that distinction as well.
I just got word of a situation downtown. There's been some sort of disturbance at the Nitty Kitty Club. Not clear yet what happened exactly. I need you to get down there and investigate.
If it's such a tense situation, why get involved? If someone's making trouble for mobsters, I say let them at it.
Nutter butter. Make me regret calling you second about this.
Second? Who do you call first? Wait, was it that hack Alfonso? You know he lost his own car keys for 9 months once, right? Oh, he couldn't solve a case if the perp was tied to his collar.
Pay attention, Nutter butter. I called you because your success rate is actually pretty good, and I will deny that if asked by anyone else. You hear? And because Alfonso's out of the country.
I knew it!
Poor Cuddles. Alfonso is very much a running joke throughout the game. We never actually meet him, but he is present in many, many different ways, and Cuddles always reacts with some level of frustration.
The color green.
Whatever's going down at the Nitty Kitty, chances are it involves a rival mob. If we're really unlucky, it's the Catulets. That's why my people are staying at paw's length on this. They'll help as much as they can, but you're mostly on your own.
We never meet him as a character, but by the end of the game, you will feel that you know him very well after seeing him throughout the world.
But Cuddles is super jealous of Alfonso.
The repercussions of the police picking it probably involves declawing machines and barrels of acid. If it comes to that, I'd rather it be you than one of my guys. I'm sure you understand.
Oh, Chief, that's so... well, actually, that's pretty awful. Did you say declawing machine?
I'll fax over the documents. I need you on this, Nutter butter. Don't let me down.
Yeah. So, I mean, how many paws are we talking about here? Like, how many paws are they going through to need a machine to... Do they keep them? Is there a room somewhere just filled with claws?
Just on, we have a comment here about never meeting Alfonso. You never meet him in person, but let's just say Cuddles visits a place where there's a one-man show being promoted. And he's not happy about it, but we'll just leave it there.
That name rings...
I'm going to just skip through these, given these are pretty much the same as the old demo.
It might
Yes,
be
sir.
that there are some people who haven't seen the original one, Daniel.
But I just don't want it to take 2 hours, that's all.
Okay.
Good night, Cuddles.
Good night, Chief.
Well?
We've got ourselves a big one, Tabby. Safety of the city, lives in the balance sort of thing. Cancel my appointments and get yourself plenty of coffee. I have a feeling it's going to be a busy night. I'm gonna head straight to the Decline Club to see what we've got.
The what?
Oh, did I say Decline Club? That's certainly not preying on my mind or anything. I meant the Nitty Kitty Club.
Well, we don't take midnight appointments, so nothing to cancel there. And I'm already ahead of you with the coffee. But did you say the Nitty Kitty Club? Where all the criminals hang out?
Not all of them, Tabby. I'm sure some hang out in dark alleyways and large empty warehouses down at the docks and such. It doesn't matter. This is really gonna put us, on the map. We'll be big time in no time.
Well, yes, that's very exciting, sir, but those mobsters, from what I've read in the news, they're real mean. Keep an eye on your back out there, all right? I don't want to see your face on the You'd better be standing right
Sorry
here
about that.
in front of me.
Don't worry, Tabs. I'll be sure to come back in one piece. We both know this place wouldn't be the same without me.
Well, true, but that's not quite what I meant. You've forgotten to pay me this week. Again. But I just realized you don't need all your limbs to sign a check. Ask.
Oh, whiskers.
Sorry, I keep clicking.
I'm really sorry, Tabster. I promise this is the last time. My new buddy here, Ramon, he's gonna make sure I don't forget things anymore. Say hi, Ramon. Hi, Ramon.
Yes, I remember.
Hi. Oh, you named the recorder. Well, as long as it works.
Regarding the city being in darkness, yeah, so the game plays out during the night hours, mostly. There's a few scenes that play out during the day, but that's to sort of more closely fit the whole idea of a noir theme and so on. Having things at night lets us do fun things with lighting and darkness and all that sort of thing.
Just to add to that, Tabby is such a great character, and she's also playable. So you get to play as Tabby twice in the game. Well, actually 3 times, but the end time. Well, let me not talk about that. But you get to play as her, and her sections are usually in the day. So she's sort of the cornerstone. Her and Cuddles' relationship is really the cornerstone of you as a player interacting with the world. They've got such a. Cuddles is pretty much useless without Tabby, and Tabby sort of helps him to be the best PI that he can be. And originally with Tabby, she wasn't going to be a playable character, but as we wrote her and we just expanded on the world, and as the game developed, we just realized she's such a strong character, and that she sort of deserved her own agency and ability to contribute to the case. And she's a different type of character to control than Cuddles.
Hey, my detective badge is under this cushion.
Oh, there's no door sound there, William. Just noticed.
Citizen, please do not approach any closer. This is a crime scene. That means you, Cuddles.
Hey, Richard, what's the sit rep?
Firstly, as I am on duty, I require you to drop the informalities. Please refer to me as Detective Krakowski.
Richard.
Secondly, sitrep is a law enforcement term, Cuddles. You are not authorized to employ it.
Modest, that's correct. The permit you can't get before you talk to Krakowski. The badge you can, but you require both to get in. So
the situation is that I've been assigned to guard the premises. Now, please step back, or I will be forced to make you step back with force, forcibly.
Daniel, do you maybe just want to expand on the name Krakowski, why we chose that?
Well, I mean, I don't even know if I can, because we don't know where we got it from. But at some point, somewhere, somehow, we heard a thing which is basically a rip-off of cop movies, and it's a guy going, "Take a walk, Krakowski, you're a good cop." And
yeah, it's like a trope, right? Because there's always like a cop, and he's a bit hot-headed, and then something happens, and he sort of loses control, and his buddy cop tells him, "Go take a walk, Krakowski." And that's sort of where we got the name from. So it's all these little things.
And the irony, of course, is that this Krakowski is the very opposite of that, because he is an absolute stickler for the rules. There was a comment about the new Krakowski voice. We actually talked about that the other day, because there's a few, obviously as you're developing, sometimes voices change. And when making the demo, we listened to these lines thousands of times, and we learned the exact cadence of the voice, like we can do it in our sleep, of course. And then a new voice comes in and it sounds different. And for a while you aren't sure if it's better or if you were just so used to the old voice. So it's sometimes you just have to trust that this fits better or this works better for whatever reason, and over time you sort of get used to it. Like the new Krakowski voice, I quite like it now. When I first heard it, it was very weird. I was like, oh, but the old voice had so much of this and that, and this voice sounds so different. But that doesn't make it worse. It's just different. Ah, and I see the Hermit Collective have managed to join us. Hi guys, how are you? Lucas, how's your mouth?
Just to mention, the Hermit Collective, they're the voice guys. They give life to our characters, and also with the voice stuff, like with the Krakowski or the new, we defer a lot of the stuff. It's a communication, but we often defer to the Hermit Collective because they're so talented and know what they're doing. We sort of trust them to do what's best for the game, and the new Krakowski voice, I can't even remember what the old one was now, to be honest. This is Krakowski in my mind now. Okay, yeah. Lucas says we're thinking of you, buddy.
Yeah, I was telling people earlier that your mouth has been upgraded for even more vocal abilities. It's
Daniel, that's not how it works.
No, he's now basically that guy from Police Academy that can do all those sounds. He's got tiny little mics embedded in his teeth now to do extra tiny little speakers.
I'm imagining he's going to come back and be like part robot or something.
Cuddles' voice will be this flat monotone robot voice. I mean, it will sound weird, but I think people will accept it.
We'll put in a cutscene where he undergoes like major surgery and he gets transformed into a robot.
Yeah.
Anything's possible.
Yeah. But yeah, so Krakowski's a new voice. The chief that you heard earlier obviously also has a new voice from the one we had before. And in fact, the other voices you heard are also Cuddles and Tabby's voices as well. I don't know if people picked up on that, but the guy in the back room is in fact Lucas, Cuddles' voice actor, and the tiki mask person is Carol Ann, who is Tabby's voice actor. And there's an explanation from the Hermit Collective themselves. The old Krakowski wasn't malleable enough to get all the reads. So, as he says, a performer can often be recycled into a different role. I mean, we have so many roles at this point in the game. We seem to have a problem with not adding new ones all the time. But yeah.
Modest Jack says Cuddles becomes an android so you can fight the declawing machines. It's gonna be a add-on DLC. He's gonna become like a Terminator. He has to fight the declawing machines trying to take over the world.
I mean, speaking of DLC, I mean, we actually have a hope that if the game does well and we have the finances and time afterwards to actually release a little sort of additional cases, almost not exactly a case, but sort of one for Cuddles, one for Taboo. We've got some ideas in mind about particular little things they can investigate themselves, and just to say thank you if the game does well to our fans, because obviously
free
free DLC, because we love being in this world, and I mean, as William said earlier, we're coming to the end of the process now, and it's a little bit sad. I mean, it's been so much work. It's partly a relief just to be able to have some free time again, but we do want to just revisit the world a little bit with some fun little stuff after the fact. And I won't go into details now because it depends on stuff you're only going to find out later in the full game. But yeah, I'm sure people will enjoy it.
I'm here on business, actually. The chief called me in himself. So if you'll just let me past, I'll get out of your fur, and we can both get on with our jobs.
Not so fast. Do you have a PI badge and a permit? Without those two things, you won't take a single step further.
Badge? Permit? Are you being serious?
I just want to mention how much I love the way Krakowski's moustache moves when he talks. It's so adorable.
Thanks,
Krakowski,
Kaylin.
You know who I am. I've been at like 10 crime scenes with you before. You hit me right in the face with a volleyball last week. Really hurt.
Don't try and cozy up to me, Cuddles. Rules are rules. Nobody goes inside without a private investigator badge and an official permit, P54851. I am an officer of the law. If I do not follow the rules, then the very fabric of society would collapse. The entire city would be plunged into a nightmare of crime from which we might never escape. So, it's my duty to be the moral backbone of this city. Therefore, I'll ask you again. Do you have the correct items?
It's my duty.
Yes. I mean, no. Well, okay, so don't say no immediately.
No paperwork, no entry, Cuddles.
I left them at the office, all right? I was a bit distracted by something the chief said about declawing machines. But come on, don't be such a stick in the mud, Krakowski. We're friends, right?
Called it cheesy, says she wants to smoosh, she wants to smoosh Krakowski's face.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
To grab those little ears and just...
Yeah, I love how he's trying so hard to be, like, firm, but he's the
You
cutest
see this
cat.
uniform, Cuddles?
Yeah.
This means that
He's so
I'm
cute
on
and
duty.
tiny.
I am not your familiar acquaintance when I'm on duty. I am the only bastion against the forces of darkness seeking to overwhelm this city with their darkness. And you see that lack of badge on you? That means you're currently just a civilian impeding the enforcement of justice. Move along, citizen.
Just have a comment here from
Goodbye, Krakowski.
Mm-hmm.
Hermit Collective about the lip syncing looking good, and that's thanks to Kaylin as well. You know, she does all the mouth shapes and stuff for all our characters, and then obviously we do the lip syncing aspect separately through a tool called Rhubarb, right, Daniel?
Yeah, something like that. It's actually interesting. It's not something I thought of when we first started, but playing a lot of the other demos, sort of adventure game demos this week. Obviously, if you're talking about pixel art games, there typically isn't much mouth sync. The details level's not high enough to make out the distinct shapes. But in even in the higher detail games, it doesn't seem like mouth sync is really a thing that which is done. It tends to be more static, which is unexpected. I guess it's much more difficult in more complex engines, perhaps, and that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm glad we have it. I think it really does add a lot
It does add.
in such a dialogue-heavy game to see the characters speaking the dialogue instead of just flapping. You know.
And initially we just had the flapping. We had just the mouth move up and down, but it took away a bit. You know, it just didn't feel up to quality. So we invested in finding out how we can get proper lip syncing. We got the artwork, and it makes such a difference. A difference you actually can feel when you play it.
I'm keeping my nose on you.
You see what I'm dealing with, Ramon? Every conversation with Krakowski turns into a pointless game of cat whiskers. There's no getting around him tonight. I'll have to head back to the office to get my PI badge and the permit he was talking about.
Cuddles, no furtive conversations at my crime scene. Move along.
Yeah, Ramon is
Ramon.
it's one of those little things that gives so much character to a character, you know. Yeah.
Just use the scratch post as well. That's just also one of my favorite lines.
Enjoy scratch post, Bella.
And that's also something we did. I'll explain.
Oh, that feels good.
So we changed the verbs depending on the situation, you know, just to add that little bit of extra. Daniel also just add some, play some inventory stuff on.
This is Cuddles Nutter Butter, and you're on Nutter Butter Radio AM.
So Ramon is now, this wasn't in the previous demo either, Ramon is now an inventory item. And as with all our inventory items, you can use him on everything in the world, including people.
Any words of wisdom for the good citizens of Meow Meow Thurington?
Yes. Please stop misspelling my surname on your complaint letters. Krakowski. Easy.
But yeah, I mean, we've taken a lot of time, and I mean, I need to stress how much time it took to look at every single inventory object in the game and figure out where it makes sense to use them on every single interactable in the game. And that means every single hotspot, person, and other inventory item in the game. It's a staggering number of interactions.
Yeah, but
so
we don't have unique responses.
Yes. Well, that's what I was going to say next. So it's not like every single combination is unique, but if you think logically, because this is a key part of how we want our puzzles to work, if the puzzles are logical and the world is also to a large extent logical. So if you do logical things with inventory items, you will get a reward in terms of a distinct bit of dialogue. It might not be the most amazing interaction ever, but the character will acknowledge that, yes, that would be something you could do normally, sort of thing. I don't think we have enough items in the demo to demonstrate that, but
yeah, no, it's fine. But I think to get the idea across, all the hotspots in the game world were split out, and all the inventory objects were compared with the hotspots, and then we checked if there's a logical conclusion that you as a player would try and assume, because that's another thing that I find quite frustrating with point and clicks. Use pen on paper, and then the character says, "Oh, I can't do that." Instead of giving me, because it's a justifiable logical leap to make, and in that sense, we try and preempt things, and it just adds to the quality, really. Because when you play the game and you do a thing and you realize you can't do it, there's a justification for it. It's not just the generic, "Nope, can't do that." And that's really the thing for us. It's just quality. It's about the experience. We never want to waste your time. That's what it is for us. We're sort of making the game that I wish I could play.
It's also like, obviously we've got a hint system in, and we've got the story mode and all these things, and the ability to look for hotspots. Some people don't want to use those options. They want to solve it through sheer logical thinking, which is absolutely valid. I mean, that's a big part of puzzle games as well. So to make that work, the world has to give you enough hints as to what you need to do. And that is done by looking at everything, talking to everything, and trying to figure it out. So if you've got an idea of how you might want to do something, perhaps you've got almost the right idea, but not quite. So you'll use a certain item on something, and the character might say, "Oh, that's almost right," or he'll give you a hint that you're on the right track. You need to just find a different way, or something like that. So those are sort of the three layers of our how to solve puzzle system. The first is the world interactions, and then if you really can't figure that out, maybe you'll use the magnifying glass to look for interactables, and if you're still struggling, you'll go to the help system or even the story mode system, catering for hopefully all manner of people looking for, in terms of what difficulty people are looking for from the game, because some of the puzzles later are definitely going to challenge people. Even in the very next section, I mean, I know there's some people in chat now who have played past this point into the rest of the game, and it was actually very pleasing listening to their feedback, because several of them were not really point and click aficionados, so they spent some time on some of the puzzles, but then they would get it, and then they would be very excited about having figured it out and say, "Oh yeah, I finally figured this out." And it was always a case of, it makes sense in retrospect, and I should have thought of that. And those are the reactions you want from puzzles. You don't want, "Oh, well, I guess that makes sense," where it doesn't really make sense. So yeah, it's going to be great having a whole bunch of different people playing this game with all sorts of different skill levels, and having them all enjoy it.
Back so soon? Did the villains hear you were on the case and instantly hand themselves in?
Oh, haha, very funny. You know what isn't funny? Officer Krakowski? The sourpuss wouldn't let me into the crime scene.
He's just doing his job. You know how much he loves the pageantry of it all.
I really like how, I mean, it feels weird for me to say I really like, considering I crafted the characters, but I really like how Tabby is fairly even-handed. She's not going to immediately back Cuddles up just because he's her boss. If Krakowski's a good cop and fair, she's going to support him with that.
Yeah.
Sort of balances.
He can take a day off now and then. He's seen me countless times before. I shouldn't need to prove anything with a stupid badge.
Oh, you forgot your private investigator badge again, didn't you? That's the third time this week.
So this is one of those little bits of dialogue from the old demo where this should technically be skipped if you've already picked up your badge, but we can just add a conditional to adjust that later.
Not true. Only the second.
What about Monday? I had to go down to the police station myself to hand in those papers when they wouldn't let you file them due to lack of identification.
All right, 3 times.
4 if you count the time you came back for it, then left again after forgetting why you were here.
In the comment there we have, I admittedly spent too long in a dark basement. Now that references the next section in the game. That's quite funny.
It's a very forgettable item, all right?
Now, let's see. Oh wait, I think I have to talk to Tabby.
Hey, so I found...
Well,
that was...
you...
Well, but now... You're the... You know, Krukowski also mentioned a permit. Is that even a real thing, or is he just pulling my tail?
It is for some cases. Did the chief mention one?
I think so. I was a little distracted by the decline comments.
Edna hasn't sent it yet then. I'll just give her a call and check.
Oh, I can do that. Edna and I get along really well.
So Edna is a character that initially was only present in the second part of the game and others, but we really enjoyed her and we found a way to incorporate her into this part to give her some continuity throughout the game.
Are you certain? Edna Honeybottom, the secretary at the police station, with the big hair?
That's her. We've got this cute thing we do where we dance around the fact that we'd be kind of great together.
You and... Wow, that's quite an image. But if you insist, sir, the number is bird, snowflake, mouse, bell, shell.
And here follows my favorite take in the entire game so far.
Got it. Shell, bell, well, dog.
Just, I mean, the dog. The script only had shell, bell, well, but just the way he squeezes out that dog at the end, it absolutely kills me. It's just so ridiculous.
But that's also worth mentioning, you know, with the Hermit Collective, Lucas and Carol Ann. You know, they do amazing work with improvisation as well. Oftentimes we get we obviously record with them, but the takes that we get from them, it's oftentimes it deviates from what we had, but it's so much better, you know, it adds so much, and then we go with that take. So we're not too married to what we send them, which is also, it adds a lot to the game.
But I also want to point out that they are professional enough to do at least one take that matches the script every time, and then only do improv. They don't just veer off from the script directly. We are deviants.
We are deviants. That's what Lucas says.
There's one line which I actually took out, and maybe this is the right platform to say, you know, hashtag 189 did it. But there's a certain line that was culled from the game, murdered even, if you will. I mean, there's actually been 2 murders in the game. The one is for the one is Edgar, and the one is, of course, line 189. So yeah, it was a line that had a ton of improv, but I thought, oh no, wait, there's a bit here that feels a bit off, so I'm just going to take the whole line out. And little did I know that Cuddles and Tabby's voice actors are in fact together in real life, and they have a child, and that child was 189, and they put their child into the game, and I just ripped that child out, and I mean, that child's probably wandering the streets now, lost and alone. But it's, you know, it's for the best. Sometimes you have to just put a child out on the street, and that's just, yeah, I mean, it's just how it goes.
I vote for the hermit line, Daniel.
Daniel ruined my life. To be fair, I ruined the life of your little child. I mean, that's very different. I mean, your life, apart from the mouth thing, is probably pretty fine. Oh no, it's very. We have a great time working with the Hermit Collective, and I mean, I really hope they get so much more attention after this game comes out for their voice acting, because it is just fantastic and it's a joy. And I mean, some of the voices, William was building some of part 3 later on, and there is there's a character called Snoutboggle, and I mean the voice just it's just stunning. It's gonna be so good.
No, sir. Here, I'll write it down for you.
Someone mentioned earlier how Tabby's proud yet exasperated mother, and that's pretty much how it is. I mean, she might be the junior member of this association, but she very much has the bulk of the brains. Although
Keeps Cuddles on the straight and
I mean, it's not entirely clear from the demo because obviously we're playing it up for comedy to a large extent, but Cuddles is actually capable, and I mean, he does have stuff that makes him good at figuring stuff out, as we'll find out later in the game. So he's not a Inspector Clouseau totally bumbling detective. He is the second best detective in. I mean, it might be that there's only 2 PIs in the city. We don't know, but yeah, he is capable. See if I can remember it offhand. Snowflake, mouse, bell, shell.
Hello?
Whoa. Well,
Hey, it's me.
that was an interesting bug.
It's a cordless phone, Dad. What are you talking about? It's meant to happen.
It is now. Oh, well, that was something. I actually wanted to mention something now about the. Oh yes, so a number of streamers that I've watched have commented on the fact the telephone has just the symbols, and we absolutely do explain that later in the game. It's not just there because it's cute. It absolutely has a reason and gets explained in depth, and there will be closure on how that could work in this world. So yeah.
And Tabby absolutely despises the whole system. She makes it clear several times, but anyway.
Horrible.
Oh, no, what happened?
You phoned me.
Good one. So listen, I'm following up on some documents I need for a case. The one at the Nitty Kitty Club. I need them to get in. Krakowski's being Krakowski, and you know how he is.
Irritating and tiresome.
Yes, exactly.
Ooh, I meant you.
You got me again. So, can you fax the papers through?
It's just oblivious.
Just to mention that Hermit Collective did mention that Edna will have a different voice later. So that will happen. We've been trying to get a voice that matches, but Edna's such a special character that and the writing is so funny. We really want to get the right voice in there. So this is actually Carol Ann that stood in for the demo.
Yeah, our original conception for the Edna character was very much like Roz from Monsters Inc., but we realized that is such a specific voice and such a specific thing that it was actually the voice actors were only doing that, and it was actually harming our ability to maybe try different things with the voice. So we've since tried to hunt around for something different, and anyway, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, exactly what you say about it's little less Roz. We've decided that was too pigeonholing. So the final voice might not be Roz at all. It might be something entirely different. The character's got a certain look, and we do want to, which I don't think you guys have seen. She appears very briefly in the trailer if you're paying attention. But yeah, we're excited to see what the new voice is going to be like. So yeah.
No, I do all my faxing in the morning.
Oh, I kind of really need them now. Krukowski won't let me into the crime scene without them, and the chief said it's a really important case. So.
Drop dead gorgeous.
Thank you, Edna.
Whatever. Oi! Constable Frangipane! I need to talk to you!
Poor Constable Frangipane.
Hey, he teleported back behind his desk. That's lucky. Now, I think I can take this. Yeah.
That takes care of the permit. Guess I don't need this posted anymore.
So now I want to see, because I think there's at least...
Tabby, This is the best gift I've ever received.
Ooh, I'm really glad you like it, sir.
I do. Say thanks, Ramon. Thanks, Ramon.
Ramon's little voice is just, oh man, I love it. I just love it so much.
One of the
Ramon can't help me
DLCs
with
you'll
that.
play as Ramon.
Ramon can't help me with...
I'm trying to figure out. I know. The thing is, it's been so long. I can't remember all the different interactions we've written. So
Daniel, go and go back to your desk, and let's look at the. Just want to show off the.
I used to have a pic.
That's actually this one, I think. Eh?
Oh, my half-brother Matrick and I. He's a good wolf, if a little flighty. Loves dashing off to strange countries to go exploring.
So obviously, Nine Noir Lives, the Meow Meow Furrington is mostly cats, but the world itself has other species in it. So there's a wolf here, his half brother, and later on you meet a couple others. But it's mostly cats. It's just to sort of establish that this world is more than just cats.
And this is another of Kaylin's fantastic artwork. You know, she
Yeah,
just
this
perfectly
is very
captures
cute.
The relationship between them.
Oh, they love each other.
Exactly. No, you can't do that.
Wrong screen.
Ramon, meet this.
I'm pretty sure none of these do anything. I'm just.
Ramon can't help.
Yeah. Okay. Permit.
There's not that many interactions like this, Daniel, that we have.
Oh well. Okay. Are there any specific interactions people would like to see? Someone said
The
umbrella. Okay, I'll check out the umbrella. Yeah, so they're mentioning the little hints of the larger world. That's actually something I wanted to mention earlier. For those who take the time to look at all of the hotspots and do all of the interactions, there's payoffs later. I've taken care. I mean, it's a self-contained story. It's not set up in such a way that you are left wanting for a sequel or anything like that. But all the little things show up in multiple ways later on as a sort of payoff. So if you looked at a certain book earlier, it's not that you have to look at the book to see the later line or the later event, for example, but if you did, then it's that much funnier because you're like, oh, this ties into that thing earlier, and it just creates this cohesion, which I feel is very satisfying in a world. It feels real, basically, and the characters are written to feel real in their world, and yeah, it's just sort of this thing that I hope people pick up on when they play. It just makes it feel that much more enjoyable.
And we don't really do reference humor, you know. We try and stay away from that because it sort of dates the game. And reference humor isn't always that funny, you know. We try and keep it separate.
We actually saw a very interesting comment the other day. People were discussing all the demos out in Gamescom, and it was specifically about all the point and clicks, because there's a good number. I mean, of the 180 or 220 demos in Gamescom, I think about 20 or 25 were point and clicks. And people were saying that one of the problems they have with modern point and clicks is that they just echo the past games, because obviously there was a high point with point and clicks. It was the 80s, it was LucasArts, it was Sierra, and I mean, these are classics of the genre. But modern games sometimes don't try that hard to break away from them in terms of their writing. There's a lot of references to those games, and sometimes almost exclusively references to those old games. And what that does is it makes the games almost completely obtuse to new players, because these things are happening, and they're designed to be funny if you know the original thing. But if you don't, then what? Then you're just left with this kind of out of place thing, and you're like, oh, that's unusual, but it doesn't really make you laugh because you don't know what it's referring to. So
sorry, go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah, so we have tried quite hard not to do that. We definitely have some references. I mean, for example, the opening of the game. I mean, the voodoo guitar. Obviously, voodoo is a thing that featured in all of the Monkey Island games. So,
but it's subtle, you know. It's not in your face. It's not, look, there's a three-headed monkey.
It's more just
subtle.
It's
a nod.
Yeah,
and that's really the key thing. It's its own thing, but you know, it doesn't really detract if you haven't played it. But it's homage, I would say that. Daniel, we got some requests to phone
I
Professor
saw.
Huggy.
Yeah, no, it's definitely still possible to phone Huggy, but I know that
An umbrella is better than no umbrella, I guess. But when it's windy out, it's such a fight to open them, and it's windy a lot in this city.
I know which line that you're referring to, Lucas, and I'll get to it now. But as an example, this line, I mean, it's interesting enough and it's cute, and you might chuckle a little bit. But this is one of those lines where later on in the game something happens, and if you've heard this line earlier, it suddenly becomes that much funnier because of something that happens later on. So yeah, I really want people to be able to play the game through a second time and pick up on these things then and go, oh, and then enjoy it like anew almost.
I can't really say that the idea of licking Tabby's rain-damp umbrella is high on my list of fun stuff to do when you have the time. The Tabster's trusty Umberino.
This is an improv line.
Yeah, I think that's the one he was.
Don't
Let's
need
phone
umbrizzle
Professor Huggy,
tonight.
Daniel.
My coat will keep off the drizzle.
Also his rhyming there. It's amazing rhyming. Umbrizzle, I mean, it's... we have to send that to the Oxford English Dictionary. I mean, it's just perfect.
You've got a coat, Cuddles. You're sorted.
For some reason, Cuddles likes inventing words about umbrellas. I was proud. You can phone... I just have to...
There's some... to whom it may concern. I am currently...
Mouse, shell, bell, bunny, bathtub. Yeah, so Professor Huggy is a botanist that occupies the office space opposite Cuddles. And she also... I mean, she's not a... She's a sort of a third... What's the word? Supporting character. But an important one. And yeah, she has some of the best phone lines in the game. Mouse, shell, bell, bunny, bathtub.
Hi there! This is Professor Huggy, PhD, LAPD, DHCP. I'm just busy opening an ancient tomb. Oh no! She's been awakened! Quick, bring me the staff of elemental judgment! We must!
Also, Lucas, I was very pleased to see that you put you built the beep into the dialogue in such a way that it cuts it off so it matches the text. Very pleased about that, because that's something I always think of when I play games where there's text interruptions, where it's technically interrupted, but then the characters stand around for like 4 seconds doing nothing. I always think, wasn't there a way to eliminate that gap, you know? So yeah.
Not every one of those Huggy lines are a hit. But luckily you get to chat to her quite a bit in the game in future.
Hello! Professor Huggy here. I'm on an expedition right now, so I can't answer. The tigers are coming back! Deploy the honey, we'll get them this time!
It's just, there's so many questions. The tigers are coming back. So that implies the tigers were there. And
What will the honey do?
We'll get them this time. What happened the last time? Oh, it's just... I enjoy it so much. Yeah, I know. I mean, and that's the great thing about making your own game. I mean, those little things, it's... I don't know what fraction of people are going to figure out that you can do that. I don't know what fraction of people are then going to call her. Maybe it's 5%. But I really hope those 5% enjoy it when they see it. And that's, you know... If it takes the average person 6 hours to play through the game because they just click through the stuff and they enjoy the puzzles and that's the end of it, and if it takes someone else 12 or 15 hours because they look at every single thing, you know, I just want everyone to just really enjoy themselves.
What's the dealio, Krakowski?
Please refrain from taking that casual tone with an officer of the law, Cuddles. I have a taser, and I'm not afraid to fill in a form to apply for permission to use it. In 3 to 6 weeks.
Hey, Krakowski, I'm just gonna pop inside.
Not so fast. Have you found your PI badge and fax permit yet?
I found the things you wanted. It was really hard. I hope you're grateful.
Well, these both seem to check out. Pleased to meet you, P.I. Nuttabutter. I actually expected you a while ago. What with the severity of the situation?
I love how that line escalates halfway through.
He's the worst.
What? I stood just... Krakowski, I swear.
The corpse is cooling, Cuddles. The crime scene awaits you.
At least I can get to work, now that you'll actually let me.
The law thanks you.
The law is a...
A what, citizen?
Lovely. The law is, lovely.
Haha, delighted to hear it. Oh, and, one more thing, Cuddles. I'll be keeping that permit. Don't want you... persuading your way into any other places you shouldn't be now, do we?
Goodbye, Krakowski.
Krakowski.
I'm keeping my nose on you.
And just to mention, you do sort of get your revenge, later.
Whoops. Oh yeah, actually. So this is obviously the city, but towards the end of the game, a whole bunch of locations are opened up throughout here. It's never too overwhelming. We definitely don't want to have a situation where you're stuck with a puzzle and you've got an inventory full of items and you've got 40 billion locations with 500 hotspots each, and you spend 7 hours trying to figure out what you need to do. So it's always manageable. We try and keep the inventory to a minimum, but part of these games is the challenge of figuring out what to use where. So, I mean, I think by sort of the third act of the game, you've got 20 items, William, something like that.
Yeah, but it's also quite nice, that map, we fully utilize it. So it's very, very nice playing the game through and seeing all the locations at the end of the day. So we're excited to get it into the people's hands.
Yeah, look,
and
I mean...
And the small animations on it as well, like the smoke in the background.
Oh yeah, no, it's...
Moving,
I love it. I mean, I believe William actually did a lot of these animations, if I'm not mistaken, so... but this is...
even like the little cars and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the small things. I mean, obviously our backgrounds are not massively animated. They're largely static. But each screen is going to have some small little bits of animation to make it feel alive. Not all of them currently have, but by the end, by release, we'll definitely have that. I mean, there's an example in the office over here. There's a bit of smoke coming from the coffee machine, and if you pay attention, a little mouse comes out of this little hole now and then, and... Yeah.
So we do have a comment here. Mice. So
mice. Yeah.
Go back to the nitty kitty, Daniel.
I want to see a little mousey. Where's the mousey? Come on.
I don't know if it's in the demo.
Oh, okay. Sad face. But yeah, mice, and scratch pole dancing.
No, cat puns all around.
Well, actually, not as many as you'd think. I mean, I wouldn't call these puns. I mean, I would. Yeah, I don't know what I'd call them. But yeah, but that's the end of the demo. So yeah, let's head in.
Ramon, I'm in. The club looks deserted though. The only patrons in here tonight are wearing blue and carrying guns. Cancel my appointments and get yourself plenty of coffee. I have a feeling it's going to be a busy night.
There we are. So yeah. And that's it. So yeah. Thanks for coming, guys. It's always fun playing through this and just chatting about the game. This is the second time we've done this. It's probably going to be the last time. We do have plans to be... Obviously, we're going to try and promote the game as much as we can, so I can't say for sure. But in terms of the Steam Festival, they've got 3 of them coming up, and they've changed the rules a bit now. You can only be in one of the 3 to try and limit it, because they had like 900 people in the last one, and there just isn't time to get to everything. So our plan is to be in the one in February, and probably announce a release date around then as well. We should have a pretty good idea. We can tell you now it's not going to be February that we release. I mean, that's just very, very unlikely. But yeah, we'll probably be in that Steam Festival and hopefully do another live stream then, sort of a last one. With this exact demo, though, we're not going to make any further changes to the demo at this point. We're going to focus on the full game. And and then after release, of course, we're definitely going to do a playthrough of the whole game with the Hermit Collective, and hopefully some of our other voice actors can pull them in when we're going to be dealing with their characters. We'll see how that goes. And yeah, apart from that, I think just want to say thanks for coming along and spread the word. You know, I think this is a game a lot of people just need to discover exists and will immediately love. I mean, the feedback we get about the game is just that people really enjoy. There's a lot of people that have been looking for something like this, whether it's a cat-based detective game, or whether it's the style or the humor or the fact that we've got so much talking. I mean, who knows? But it's clicking boxes for a lot of people. So the more people we can get to hear about it, the more of a success it'll be, and the bigger we can make the sequel. You know, because we've got some big ideas for the sequel. Believe me.
Yeah, there has been talk of the sequel. But we won't expand.
But that'll be years also, down the line. We need a break first.
Also to mention, for those that are super observant, it's already peppered quite a bit in the game already.
Well,
even in the demo that you. But Daniel, we leave it there.
Yeah. No. I don't wanna.
Yeah, we won't say anything else.
We need a break after we finish this thing. It's been 4 long years, and it'll be 5 by next year.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
A game that survives replaying. Yes, I mean that's the thing. It's not normally. Puzzle games, obviously once you know the puzzles, you can finish these things in half an hour or whatever, you know, click. But there's so many interactions that hopefully if you play it through a second or even a third time, you'll find things that you didn't know were there, you know, little sub-interactions. Or maybe the second time through you try out weird items on hotspots and see what happens, who knows. But yeah. Okay, I think if there's any... Unless there's any other questions, I think we'll end up calling it there.
And I think between now and February, for people wanting to see like updates and new artwork and stuff, like Twitter, you guys post a lot on Twitter?
Oh yeah, Twitter and Discord. We are going to begin, I mean, we've got about, I'd say 75% of the voices finalized and about half recorded. So we're going to begin announcing characters on Twitter and Discord and making little videos of them actually recording their lines alongside their character and showing off some of their lines and stuff. So that's going to begin happening in the next few months. So yeah, definitely something to keep an eye out for.
We'll be ramping up the marketing up to release.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely be sharing more information. That's a great point. Thanks, Caleb. So yeah, we're on Twitter. We're on Discord as well.
Yeah, those are the two main places. There. I mean, we're on everything. We're even on Instagram. I just can't figure out how to post, so we're just there.
You're not a millennial, Daniel.
Oh, Daniel.
No, it's not my fault. I don't think you can post on Instagram from their website. I think you have to use a phone or a device. That's as far as I can figure it.
Caleb, help us with that.
I'll help you.
Thanks, Caleb.
Oh my word.
All right. Awesome.
All right. Anyway, thanks, guys. Have a great evening, morning, wherever you are, and yeah, see you around.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.